Hola chicos, these are your notes for possessive adjectives. Please make sure to copy down these notes because I will be checking for them on Monday when we come back from the weekend. They are for a participation grade. Okay, so possessive adjectives, like descriptive adjectives, are used to qualify people, places, or things. Possessive adjectives express the quality of ownership or possession. And these are words that we definitely recognize. You have already seen the word me and maybe even the word me's, and it means my. So think about all the possessive adjectives that we have in English to indicate to whom something belongs. That's what we mean by to qualify places, people, or things. So if you want to say that something is yours, it belongs to you, you would say my in English. Well, in Spanish, there are going to be two forms, the singular and the plural. But notice there's no gender. We're not going to have to worry about masculine or feminine. The only two forms. I'm sure you can guess what tu and tus are going to be. They're going to mean your, but in a familiar form. Remember, we have four yous. We have tú, usted, ustedes. Oh, I guess we're not going to learn the vosotros. So we have three yous. So this one is if you're talking to a friend and you're saying, hey, your book is here. Tu libro. Now it looks very familiar. It looks like the subject pronoun you. But remember, subject pronouns have the accent over the u. So tu accented would mean you. Tu with no accent means your. Huge difference. So if we have my, then your, what do you think su or sus is going to mean? It would be the third person down. Think about when we conjugate a verb. We have yo, tú, next is el, ella, usted. So that would be his, her, or its. Or it could even mean your formal. So now here we have the your familiar, tú. But if you're speaking to someone formally, you're saying, hey, Mrs. Henke, that's your book. You would say, Señora Henke, es su libro. But this gets complicated because if you just walked into a classroom and said, es su libro, what am I saying? Am I saying it is his book, it is her book, it is its book, or it is your book? So you would need to have already spoken about the subject so we would know who you're talking about. But we're going to see another way to go about that to make it more, to make it easier to understand. And now we have nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, and nuestras. So right away, you know that these possessive adjectives are going to show gender. So now we're going to have four forms, right? You can see the singular forms, the plurals, and then there's masculine and feminine for each one. And we know this one from our prayer. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo. That one means our. So there's going to be four ways to say our. Now I have blocked out this next section here because this is where the vosotros section would be, but we're not going to learn vosotros. So now su and sus, exactly like these, right? There's no difference here. It's just because there are more meanings for su and sus. If you wanted to say their or your, plural, like y'all's, that's the same word. So as you can see, using su and sus gets really complicated because it has so many meanings. It could be his, her, its, your, formal and singular, or their or your, plural, like y'all's. So if you just read a sentence that has su in it and doesn't have any other context clues for you, you wouldn't know who we're talking about. So we're going to find a way to circumvent that and make it easier. Okay, so in English, possessive adjectives are invariable. That is, they do not agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. So the word my in English works for anything. My cousin, singular. My cousins, plural. My aunt, feminine. My aunts, or feminine and singular. My aunts, plural. In English, we don't care. But Spanish possessive adjectives, however, do agree in number with the nouns that they modify. So in Spanish, it does matter. My cousin, well, masculino, singular, we use mi. In fact, we don't care about the masculino, right? My cousins, plural, mis primos. My aunt, don't care that she's feminine, mi tía. My aunts, we're not going to worry about the feminine. We're just going to say mis tías. But the form nuestro agrees in both gender and number with the noun it modifies. So when it comes to nuestro, we're going to have nuestro for masculine singular, nuestro primo, nuestros primos for masculine plural, nuestra for feminine singular, nuestras for feminine plural. So now you try this. I want you to pause me and I want you to try writing out our family, our relatives, and our uncle. After you've written those three down, then push play again so that you can check your work. So our family, it's going to be a form of nuestro. Familia is singular and femenina. You should have gotten nuestra familia. Our relatives, well, parientes, we're going to assume there's a guy in there, right? You don't have all feminine relatives, so it's going to be masculino and plural. That would give us nuestros parientes. Our uncle would be singular and masculino, so that would be nuestro tío. But had it been my family, remember we don't care that it's feminine, mi familia. Had it been our relatives, we don't care that it's masculine, mis parientes. And my uncle would be mi tío. Possessive adjectives are always placed before the noun they modify. So just like in English, your boyfriend, ¿está tu novio aquí? Is your boyfriend here? Right in front of the noun. No, mi novio está en la biblioteca. No, my boyfriend is in the library. Once again, right in front of the noun. Pause me again and try writing these sentences. My cats are fat. Make sure the my goes right in front of cats, and they're masculine. Then do our classes are hard. Put our right in front of classes. Pause me and then check your work. Mis gatos son gordos. So you made it plural because gatos is plural. We don't have to worry about gender here. You want to say are so you don't use es. And then gordos, masculino in singular. Our classes. Well, clases is feminine and it's plural, so we should have gotten nuestras clases son difíciles. And hopefully you remember to make hard plural. Okay, so let's come back and discuss the differences between all those different possessive adjectives that su and sus can represent. So because it has multiple meanings, your, his, her, their, and its, you can avoid confusion by using this construction instead. So we're going to put an article, which is el, la, los, or las, or you could use un, una, unos, unas, followed by the noun, okay, and then de and a subject pronoun. Now that sounds kind of funny, right? So this is what we mean by this. If I were to just walk into a room and just say, sus parientes son ellos. Okay, someone's relatives are they. They are someone's relatives. Well, who's that someone? Because it could possibly mean your relatives, his relatives, hers, theirs, or its. So to avoid that problem, we can rephrase the sus parientes to mean specifically what we mean. So if we wanted to say his relatives, we would say instead of sus parientes, los parientes de él or de ella. Here's our article, here's the noun, and then of who they belong to, replacing the his or her with he or she. Okay, replacing the you or your with usted or ustedes. So I want you to try this. Instead of writing su novio, right, her boyfriend, because su could possibly mean your boyfriend or his boyfriend or their boyfriend or its boyfriend, I want you to be really clear by using this syntax here. Start with your article, followed by your noun, which would be boyfriend, then de, her, right, she. You would replace Laura. Pause me and try that one. Did you come up with el novio de Laura, the boyfriend of Laura? That removes the problem of su novio, and we don't know who su stands for. Try another one. I don't want you to say su familia, right? I want you to say the family of them. It belongs to they or them. Try that one for me. Did you come up with la familia de ellos? The family of them or they. This is much easier to understand than the generic su familia, when su could have meant your, his, her, their, or its. Okay, now I want you to try these. Pause me and try some of these, and then you can check. Do all the singulars first, and then we'll check those, and then you can go back and do the plurals. So pause me now and see what you come up with. Número dos. My family. Familia is singular, so we would say mi familia. Your family, okay, your your familiar esposo es italiano. So we're saying your husband is Italian and we're speaking to a friend. So that would be tú, no accent. An accent would be you husband instead of your husband. Our professor. Profesor is singular and masculino. So nuestro profesor. Reloj is masculino and singular. I guess we don't have to worry about the masculino, right? This is that confusing word, su. Maybe we've already been talking about the person, so we know that when we say es su reloj, we know who we're talking about. This time we're going to say your familiar. So you're going to say this is your backpack to a friend, tu mochila. But now we're going to turn around and say to Mrs. Hinke, this is your suitcase. So your has to change. You can't use tu. That would be familiar. You need the usted form, and that would be su, that confusing one that has so many different meanings. Their sobrina es alemana. So their niece is German. There would be that confusing word again, su. Okay, pause me again and try your plurals. Número dos. Our primos son canadienses. So our cousins are Canadian. It's plural and masculino, nuestros. Son their lápices. So it belongs to them. It's the confusing one, but this time it's plural because lápices is plural. Sus. Their nietos son japoneses. Confusing word again, and we're plural, so you should go with sus. Son our plumas. Okay, they're our pens. Plumas is femenina y plural, nuestras. Son my papeles. So they're my papers, plural, mis. My amigas son inglesas. So my friends are English. Son plural, mis. Son his cuadernos. Plural, remember the confusing one, sus. That's it for your notes. Make sure you've got all these filled in so that I can check them for credit on Monday. Adios, chicos.